Welcome back everyone. Today I wanted to show you my meat stockpile, or actually my food stockpile, and show you how I stockpile meat. That with COVID happening recently, it's been absolutely crazy with everything that has been flying off the shelves and panic buying, which is absolutely ridiculous because you should have at least a month's worth of food on hand, so you don't, when these things happen, and they will, you don't have to run to the store to try and grab whatever food you can off the shelves because there's nothing left. So this is my meat stockpile. It takes up, and remember, I'm only in a 1-bedroom apartment, so this is my meat stockpile. It takes up only one drawer in my freezer, and I have absolutely everything in here for Matt and I to eat. This is a little bit more than a month. I think we could stretch it a little bit more to about 2 or 3 months if we were really careful about the portions that we were eating. And I have everything in here. I think the only thing in here that I didn't buy on sale or clearance was the pork shoulder. That I paid full price for a couple of weeks ago, but it still ended up, I split it up into 3 different meals. So I have 2 more in here. And this is going to keep us going for a while. And what I buy, when I find stuff on clearance, I buy stuff that we're going to eat. I don't buy stuff just because it's there. If we're not going to eat it, it's not a savings for me. I buy it because I know we're going to eat it. And in here is what we're going to eat. And I rotate through this. I don't have a stockpile of food that is emergencies only. I have a good stockpile for us to eat, and I rotate through. So, you know, we'll eat the oldest stuff first, and then we'll keep rotating through. Everything in here, as you can see, is labeled and dated, and the amount in each package is clearly labeled on top, so I know exactly when I put these into the freezer, and I know which ones I need to use first up. So that's how I store my meat. Always buy it on clearance, always have a good stockpile of meat in the freezers. We then have the other drawer in my freezer, which is filled up with everything but meat. You can see the clearance items on there. Like, I got that vegetable sauce, which is, I think I ended up getting like 8 or 9 packets of them for 80 cents each. And they were like $4 or $5. So they were so heavily discounted, and I just threw them in the freezer. This pizza I got yesterday, and they were 99 cents per pizza from Coles. And I just cut them up and put them into little sandwich bags. And I reuse the sandwich bags just so you don't think I'm just going crazy with sandwich bag. I actually wash them and reuse them. We can put these in the air fryer and have them for lunch. So I've got 2 slices per little pack that can be done in the air fryer. I've got some muffins that I baked myself, which were it was like under $2 to make, and it's banana muffins. So I was using up some bananas that had gone bad. Yeah, so I really like to buy a lot of my stuff on clearance and then freeze it. You know, I try to go to Coles around 6 p.m, 5:30, 6 p.m, because I know that they've got good deals on there, or Coles or Woolworths or whichever shopping centre I'm going to. Yeah, so I've just built over time a really good stockpile of food so that I don't have to run to the supermarket if something happens. And I keep most of it in the freezer. You'll see there I've got crumpets. They were half price yesterday, so I bought a few packets of them. These crumpets, and they were on sale for 40 cents. So I just freeze everything and then take it out when I need it. Like the crumpets, I have 1 crumpet for breakfast every morning. So when they go on sale, I tend to stock up on those and put them in the freezer. So I know I've got a stockpile and I don't have to think about buying more. And then in here, there's an amazing shop that I can't go to at the moment because of the COVID restrictions, but it's called Cheaper by Miles, and they have always have good stocks of butter, always have good stocks of cream. So whenever they have either of those 2 things, I will go and stock up because if they've got butter, I'll just buy butter and freeze it because it's usually in the last few weeks of life. Or I will make my own butter with the cream, and then I have it just packed up in these little packs. It's baking paper and then alfoil on top, so that I know when it is, and I've got it dated and weighted, so I know when I need to use it or which one I need to use first. So that's how I keep my stocks of butter. And that butter, I think each block cost me about $1. Oh. If you have a look at my fridge, this is where all the fresh fruit and stuff that's going to be used this week sits, or all of our condiments and spices. Sauces, not spices. So I've got fruit here and things like, you know, when I pick my fruit, I pick fruit that's on sale. Strawberries were 4 punnets for $5, and then we had blueberry. I love blueberries, so I got those. They were $3 a punnet. We got some bread. I've got my crumpets back there, and then fresh fruit and vegetables down the bottom. I try as much as I can to buy what's in season, because that's going to be cheaper than if I was buying things that are not in season and having to be flown in from overseas. So that's how I try and keep my costs down. Keep a good stockpile of food on hand all the time. So a quick look into my pantry. This is our everyday pantry. Yes, I like to have everything labeled, and I love having these clear containers so I can see in them and I can see how much I've got of any one item. So it makes it really easy when I'm doing my shopping list. I can just have a quick look to see if anything's running low, or when I'm wanting to fill something up, I can go to my other pantry, which I'm going to show you, to refill. So that's the top part of my pantry. This is what we use every day, and then the bottom is just overstock of things that I'm just storing. So yeah, there's things like cat food, extra oil, all of the extras in there that I need to store. This is the main pantry that we use. Our apartment is so tiny that I actually have created another sort of little pantry somewhere else, which I'll show you, so that we can keep a good stock of other foods in there. Let's go and have a look at that one. So this wasn't supposed to become a full video. I was just wanting to show you my meat stockpile, and then it ended up becoming me showing you my pantry, but at least you get to see how I keep things in stock and what I buy, so that I don't need to run to the supermarket if there's an issue like what happened with COVID. 2 days ago in my area, they also announced that the water supply had been contaminated because of storms overnight, where they weren't able to properly purify the water, and it had gotten into the supply. So they were telling people that they were needing to boil their water before drinking or adding it to food, and obviously people went absolutely crazy and decided they were going to go wipe the shelves of any type of bottled water. So before, I actually do have a stock of water. Before I show you that, I'm going to show you this pantry here. So if I step back a bit, this is like my storage pantries. I just got these shelves, and it drives me insane that they're different colors, but that's what they had at the time, and I needed to get some storage because that cupboard that I just showed you was just non-functional. At some point I will get another one to make the colors match, but it's not really important right now. So each of these bins has food in them as backup or replenishment to what is in my main cupboard that I just showed you. So this first cupboard has, and I got most of this, if you haven't already realized, I buy most of the stuff that I need on sale. So we've just got, you know, some packet sauce mix, some rice mixes that you can just reach to in a pinch. You don't have to make everything from scratch when you're trying to save money. If there's a good deal on something that you know you're going to use, go ahead and buy it, because it's better than then not having time, or you're too stressed to be able to cook something from scratch. Being able to reach something from in a pinch without having to resort to takeout is brilliant, because then you're not spending $30-40 on takeout. It's, you know, a few dollars. So this has like sauces, stocks. It has a can, it's got some juices in there. So this one holds, again, more of the baking side. I have milk powder. I use milk powder and always have almost exclusively for baking. And that's because Matt and I aren't really big milk drinkers, so to buy milk just hoping that I'm going to bake something is not really cost effective for us, because it usually goes off before I'm able to use it. So I just keep full cream and skim milk powder on hand. The only thing that I don't use it for is when I'm making something like a custard, because I find that it tastes a bit too much like cooked milk. But when you're making cakes or anything else, cakes, bread, I use milk powder. I don't even bother using the fresh stuff, because I find that milk powder is cheaper, and I can just keep it in big bags like this and then in an airtight container in my pantry and use it that way. I've got excess sugar, I've got some jelly in there, so just excess baking muesli. I'm going to put up a 2-ingredient muesli bar recipe. That's the word that I'm looking for. Yeah, 2-ingredient muesli bar recipe that uses muesli. That's why I have a big bag of muesli in there. So it's really quick and really simple. This one contains cat food cans for Spike and Lily, so they always have enough food in stock. Again here, this is where I keep my flour, some more skim milk. So that's a whole pile of flour in there. I usually make my own bread. We don't usually buy a lot of bread unless it's a specific type. So I generally make my own bread. That's why I keep flour on hand. Again, there's some flour, some cans, some sugar, baking items in there. Diced tomatoes, really easy to make, like a simple sauce with pasta. Just add some onion, oil, basil, pasta, salt, pepper, and you can have a really, really cheap spaghetti dinner or pasta dinner with just those ingredients. Then in here I have some canned goods. So this is just, you know, again, some more tomatoes, some pineapples, some coconut milk, those kind of canned goods that we use. We've got some canned tuna, some beetroot, and another stack of cans. This mostly has canned fruit in there. Matt likes canned peaches and canned fruit, so he eats a lot of those. These canned fruits are also really good to make some desserts. So like peach cobbler or stuff like that I usually use. And the last thing that I want to show you is my bottled water. So I always keep 2 packs of bottled water on hand. I just keep them in the wardrobe. So if things like what happened the other day where the water supply had become contaminated and wasn't good for drinking happens, I can come to this supply. If the water gets turned off in the building, then I have water to drink. Or, you know, if your water gets turned off because they're doing maintenance out in the street, then you at least have some water bottles on hand. I know you can go out and buy it, but it's easy to just go to your supply and go and get it. You don't have to worry about going to the supermarket and rushing to get water or food. You've got it all on hand, so it takes the stress off when you're prepared. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of my pantry and my freezer and my stockpile. It went from a 1-minute video where I was supposed to show you how I store meat and what I do in order to get a good meat stockpile, to a full tour of my pantry and my overstocked pantry and my extra water. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this gave you some insight as to how you can be more prepared next time. Be prepared. That's what I can say. It turns a crisis into more of an inconvenience, like if your water gets shut off, or people go absolutely crazy because of something that's made them go to the supermarket and clear things off the shelves. You have time and you don't need to worry about it so much because you already have a good supply at home, and you can at least use what you've got before you have to venture out and go get more food. If you like this video, please follow, subscribe, give us a like, share, and I'll see you next time. Bye.